Hello everyone. In today's video we are going to be discussing 4 more topics which are asked in the IELTS Writing Task 2, and we are going to be seeing sample questions for all of them. What we are trying to do today is to help you understand what level of knowledge you need on certain topics in order to answer the essay writing question of the IELTS exam. Now, you do not need to be an expert on anything. You just need to have certain basic knowledge about how things work, and you need to be a little bit informed about what is happening in the world. The IELTS is also not exactly about current topics, which a lot of people might tell you it is. It is actually about issues and concerns which are there since a long time and which are still continuing now. In today's video, we will cover some sample questions and they will help you generate some ideas and also help you cover up some things that will give you a bit more clarity on what happens in the writing task too. I hope that you learned something new today. Welcome to my IELTS stream. So the topics we are going to be covering in today's video are public health, tourism, technology, and international business. Our first topic is public health, and the first question is: some people say that the government should spend more money on prevention of illnesses rather than on treatment. Do you agree or disagree? Now, in order to answer this question, what do you need to know about public health? You need to know the meanings of two main words here: prevention and treatment. You do need to understand what they are, and you need to know the difference between the two, because the question is a comparative one and you need to take one side. So in order to answer this question, you will need to use some bit of logic and reasoning to determine which one is more important. In order to do that, you will need to know how beneficial is prevention to a person and how beneficial is treatment to a person, and which one is more important. Now, if you happen to be someone who thinks both are equally important, then you might not fare well in this question, because it is an agree or disagree question, and the best approach to this category is to take one side and give two ideas in favor of that. And you will need to do that if you want to have a crisp task achievement score, a crisp attempt at task achievement. That's what I'm trying to say. And so this is the basic knowledge. What is prevention, what is treatment, and how do both of these affect a person and eventually affect public health? Which one should be preferred? Some people today prefer to get advice for medical problems and do not want to visit a doctor. Why is this? Is this a positive or a negative development? So this question does not have a lot of technical details, does not have basic technical details also. Some people prefer to get advice for medical problems and do not want to visit a doctor. Why is this? So you need to give the reason as to why people prefer not to visit a doctor. And is this a good thing or a bad thing? So in order to answer the first question, why is this? The only thing that you need to know is that it does happen that people prefer not to visit a doctor, and you might have seen people in your personal life who do this. So you don't need to have read anything about public health when it comes to this question. You just need to have observed around you what is happening when it comes to people not visiting doctors for an illness. You might know somebody in your personal life, you might know a friend who knows somebody like that, or it is just a common thing that happens, I guess, in any country, that people do not visit doctors. They actually try to solve problems on their own. They just take advice from their friends and family. So why does this happen? You need to look at the situation according to what these people are doing. according to what is their perspective. Why do they do this? And you need to answer the question. So this question is not about having knowledge in the field of medicine. This question is not about having expertise in the field of medicine. This is just a question about a little bit of instability when it comes to people and their perception of doctors and medical treatment. Is this a positive or a negative development? So what is your opinion on this? Now, since you have determined why does this happen, according to you, is this good or is this bad? Now, I think a great majority of people will say that this is a bad thing, because if you are sick and you don't actually go to a professional for advice or treatment, then you can end up in an even worse situation, which can lead to a public health crisis. So this is something that could lead to a bigger problem. So this is a bad thing and it is a negative development. So this question requires you just to have a perception about the topic, and it does not require you to have any technical knowledge, unlike the first question, which needed you to have the meanings of prevention and treatment and the difference between the two. This question does not require you to know any of those things. As a result of increasing tourism, there is a growing demand of flights. So we are at our second topic, tourism. What problems does this cause for the environment and how can we solve them? So this question is a cross between two topics. In our previous video, we covered the topic of environment, and this particular question is about tourism and the environment. As a result of increasing tourism, there is a growing demand of flights. Okay. What problems does this cause for the environment? So because of increasing flights, what problems does this cause for the environment and how can we solve them? So this is a specific question. You do not really have a very big scope of ideas. It is quite a narrow scope of ideas. What knowledge do you need to have? You need to know how flights affect the environment. And this is happening because of increasing tourism. So this question is more about the environment than it is about tourism and how can we solve them. So when it comes to the solution, we can look at tourism. We can suggest different modes of transport that would sustain the tourism but at the same time sustain the environment. So that is how you can answer this question. When a person travels to a different country, they should adapt the local customs and practices. Do you agree? So when a tourist goes to a country, they should adapt the local practices and customs, rules, regulations, or whatever. Now, do you agree? You will need to take a stand because it's an agree-disagree question. So if you do say yes, you will need to have two ideas in favor of adapting or following the local customs. And what do you need to know to answer this question? You need to know that how is it important to adapt the local customs? Or else if you're disagreeing, then you need to know why is it not important. Now this again does not require you to have any knowledge of tourism. You do not need to be a tourist guide to answer this question. You just need to think at a basic level and think about, if somebody visited your country, would you like them to adapt to your rules and regulations, or would you just want them to discover your country and have a good time? When you visit a country, would you make an effort to actually follow their rules, to learn about them and to live like them, or would you just want to live in a nice hotel, go to the beach, try out different types of food and make good memories? What is more important? And hence you will be able to answer this question. Yes, please subscribe to our channel. We are present on YouTube and on Facebook, and if there is anything in particular you want us to make a video on, please let us know. We will be more than happy to help you. And follow us. It encourages us to do better work. Technology. This is one of the most commonly asked topics. So in our previous video, we did education, we did environment, and then the third most commonly asked topic is technology. People now have the freedom to work and live anywhere in the world due to the development of communication technology and transportation. Okay, do the advantages of this development outweigh the disadvantages? So the category is pretty straightforward: outweigh. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Now, this question is a little bit smart, and it creates difficulty for the person writing the answer. How? I have seen a lot of my students struggle with this question. They just say, oh, the advantage is that you can live anywhere and you can work anywhere. But the question already states that. So you cannot take that point anymore in your essay. You need to think in a different manner and give another advantage or advantages to this particular concept. And in order to be able to do that, what knowledge do you need to have? You just need to imagine that if I had the opportunity to live anywhere and work from anywhere in the entire world, what positives would come my way or what negatives would come my way? You cannot repeat the ideas which have already been stated in the question, but you should be able to think about it just by imagining the situation. So this question again does not require you to have any knowledge about anything. You just need to put things into perspective, use your imagination, and actually think what would happen if this were the case with me. So this is the kind of imagination you need to have to answer this question. You do not need to have knowledge on any sort of technology. The question will not ask you how an Android phone works or how an iPhone works. The question is just about the advantages of technology and good transportation as well. Nowadays, due to the involvement of technology, the way people interact has changed. Is this a positive or a negative development? So for this, you need to be aware about your surroundings. You need to be aware about how people are interacting with one another, and is it resulting in good things or bad things? So you will need to take one side and give two ideas for it. And what you need to do is you need to be aware about what is happening around you, or even what is happening generally across the world. How has technology impacted the types of relationships people make or how they interact with one another? So this is again a question about general knowledge, and the second step in this question is your perspective. Do you think it is good or do you think it is bad? And then if you, whatever stand you take, you need to give the whys and the hows of it. Like, why is this good and why is this bad and how it happens? So when it comes to technology, most of the questions in IELTS are around the influence of technology on our lives, and this is what you need to keep in mind while approaching the question. The last topic for today is international businesses. Large businesses have big budgets for marketing and promotion, and as a result, people gravitate towards buying their products. What problems does this cause, and what could be done to encourage people to buy local products? So, this question does not exactly use the word international business, but because of the last question, we get to understand that this question is mainly about international business. Why? Because what could be done to encourage people to buy local products? So this means that local products can only be opposed to international products, and that is what the question means by large businesses. So let us read the question again. They have big budgets for marketing and promotion, and as a result, people move towards buying their products. What problems does this cause? So when people are more attracted towards large businesses, what problems does this cause, and what could be done to encourage people to buy local products. So what can be done so that people come towards the local companies and the local businessmen who might not have as big budgets for marketing and promotion like the large international businesses? So what knowledge do you need to have for that? You need to know how to grab someone's attention. Now, I'm not asking you to be a marketing expert, but it is just something that you can look into your own life. How do you decide to buy something? Do you prefer international products just because of the brand, or do you prefer the quality to be better? In order to answer this question, you need to know the perception of people. Like, how do they gravitate towards things, and what can be done so that if they are gravitating towards international products, they should be moving towards the local products. So this will require a little bit of background knowledge about people, but mostly you will need to use a little bit of brains and give a solution so that local products are more promoted and are more successful. So this is how international businesses are used in the IELTS exam. The concept of international businesses, they are usually there to compare with local businesses. So this is one example of how this topic is covered. So that was it for today's video. I hope that you learned something new and you will be able to approach the writing task 2 in a better manner now. We have established that you do not need to be an expert on anything when it comes to the writing task 2 topics, but you just need to have a bit of a basic knowledge and actually use a little bit of logic to answer the questions. I hope that this video was useful to you. Have a nice day.